Hi everyone, I am Miss Ella, and today we are going to learn how to convert the units of length. All of you know that we have different units. We use them to measure the length of something in our life. Now, to measure the length of any item, we can use kilometer, meter, centimeter, and millimeter. Let's have a look at this one. Of course, our lesson is in chapter 11, lesson 10, convert metric units of length. Now, if you have a look at this page here, the most common units that we use to measure length in the metric system are the millimeter, centimeter, meter, and kilometer. Now look at this diagram here. We ordered these units from largest one to the smallest one. So the largest unit in the length for measuring the length is kilometer, and the smallest one here is millimeter. So when I want to convert one unit to the other unit, I'm going to use a special procedure here using multiply and divide by the power of 10. So when I want to convert larger unit to smaller unit, I'm going to multiply by power of 10. For example, when I want to convert from kilometer to meter, I'm going to multiply by 1000. When I want to convert it from meter to centimeter, I'm going to multiply by 100. And when I want to convert it from centimeter to millimeter, I'm going to multiply by 10. Now, let's go backward now from smaller unit to the larger units. We are going to divide by the power of 10. So when I want to convert it from milli to centi, I'm going to use the same power of 10, which is 10, but using divide. And when I want to go from centimeter to meter, I'm going to divide by 100. And when I want to go convert from meter to kilometer, I'm going to use divided by 1000. So all of you has to know that when I want to convert larger units to smaller units, we are going to multiply by the power of 10. And when I want to convert a smaller unit to larger units, we are going to divide by powers of 10. Now let's have some examples here to know how can I use this procedure to solve some questions. Here's some questions in your book, which is the independent practice, page 859. Let's try to answer them using the same chart that I showed you to you before. Now, I want you all, when you want to answer this question, to draw the diagram beside the questions. So I'm going to draw it, kilometer, kilometer. I'm going to convert it to meter, centimeter, and millimeter. We said when we want to convert it from larger to smaller, we are going to multiply. So here from kilo to meter, I'm going to multiply by 1000. When I want to convert meter to centi, I'm going to multiply by 100. And from centimeter to meter, millimeter, sorry, I'm going to multiply by 10. Now, when I want to go backward, I'm going to use the inverse of multiply, which is divide. So from millimeter to centimeter, I'm going to divide it by 10. From centimeter to meter, I'm going to divide it by 100. And from meter to kilometer, I'm going to divide it by 1000. Sometimes you can ask, why do we have to use multiplying by 1000 when I want to convert from kilometer to meter? All of you know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. That's why we multiply by 1000. And 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. That's why we multiplied by 100. And 1 centimeter here, it equals to 10 millimeters. That's why we multiply by 10. Now, let's do our questions here using this diagram. Question number 3. In this question, we need to convert from centimeter to meter. So I'm going backward from small to large. From centimeter to meter, using my diagram, I'm going to divide it by 100. So let's do it together. Here, I'm going to divide it by 100. When you divide, you are going to choose the place of your decimal point, which will be at the end of the right. Here, when I want to divide by power of 10, I'm going to move my decimal point to the left side. Left side, going with the divide. Now, how many decimal places should I move my decimal point? It will be 2 decimal places. Why? Because I'm divided by 100. So let's move my decimal point 2 decimal places to the left. This is 1 and this is 2. So my decimal point will be here. Now the answer is 7.00. I want to tell you something. Whatever you add zeros at this side, it has no value. So if you add 2 zeros, 3 zeros, millions of zeros, it has no value. So sometimes you can write it like this, 7.00, or you can write it 7 meter. Now let's go to question number 4. Here I'm going to convert from millimeter to meter. Now from millimeter to meter, I'm going backward also, from smaller to the larger and jumping over centimeter. So in this case here, I'm going to use, instead of 2 steps, instead of converting from milli to centi and then from centi to meter, I'm going to take it as 1 step. So here, from millimeter to centimeter, I'm going to divide by 10. Centimeter to meter, I'm going to divide it by 100. Now to make it as 1 step, I can count how many zeros I have. Here is 2, here is 1, so I'm going to divide it by 1000. Now where is my decimal point? Here is my decimal point because it's a whole number. I'm going to move it to the left side 3 decimal places. So let's go to do it. 1, 2, and 3. Now what is the answer should be? 8.500. As I told you, you can add these 2 zeros or can you remove it? Now question number 5. Here I'm going to convert from kilometer to meter. Here I'm going to use a multiply. So from kilo to meter, I need to multiply by 1000. Now let's do it. 15 times 1000, it will be equal to 15,000 meters. It's easy. Now let's go to question number 6. In question number 6, we are going to convert from meter to kilometer. Now I'm going backward using the divide. Divided by what? Of course, divided by 1000. Now let's do it. Divided by 1000. That means we are going to move my decimal point to the left. Now, here's my decimal point. Going to the left 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, and 3. That means my answer is 73.000. And as I told you, you can write it like this. 73 kilometers only. It will be easy for you if you draw this diagram beside your questions. It will help. Now let's go to another examples. Here also I'm going to convert from meter to millimeter. Now I'm going to jump over the centimeter. Don't forget to draw the diagram beside the questions. Kilometer, meter, centimeter, and millimeter. Now I'm going backward using divide by 10, by 100, and by 1000. Okay, let's have a question number 7 here. Convert from meter to millimeter. Here I'm going to use the multiply from big to small, from large to small. You are going to multiply. So I'm going to write multiply. From meter to millimeter, you are going to multiply by 1000. Why? Because here I have 100, here I have 100, here I have 10. Both them together, you can add the zeros, collect them, so it will be 1000. Okay, now in our number here, it has a decimal point. So I need to take this decimal point and move it when I multiply to the right side. So again, when I want to multiply, move your decimal point to the right side. When I want to divide, take your decimal point and move it to the left. Now, how many decimal places I should move it? Yes, of course, 3 decimal places. Let's move it. Now here's 1, 2, and 3. So my decimal point will be here. Oh, there is an empty place without any digit. So what should I do in this case? Yes, I need to add 0 here. So my answer will be 2710 millimeter. Let's go to question number 8. Question number 8, we are going to convert it from meter to centimeter. From meter to centimeter, you are going to multiply by 100. So let's do it. When I want to multiply, we are going to move our decimal point also to the right. Now take your decimal point, move it 2 decimal places because we used to multiply by 100. So 1 and 2. Here's my new decimal point. So the answer here will be 920 centimeters. Now question number 9, I'm going to convert from milli to centimeter. Here I'm going to divide because I'm moving from small to large. So from millimeter to centimeter, you are going to divide it by 10. So let's do it. Now, where should I move my decimal point? To the right or to the left? Yes, of course. When I want to divide, I'm going to take my decimal point to the left side. How many decimal places I need to move it? Only 1 decimal place. So here's my decimal point will be. The answer will be 1.75 centimeters. Now let's go to question number 10. Question number 10, we are going to convert it from kilometer to meter. Now here I'm going to multiply by 1000. Let's do it. Here I'm going to multiply it by 1000. Move my decimal point to the right side. 3 decimal places. So let's move it. 1, 2, and 3. So here will be my decimal point. That means the answer will be 509.50 if you want, or you can keep it as it is 509 meter. They are the same. Now, what if I want to compare 2 different units? For example, I want to compare which one is larger than the other, meter or millimeter, kilometer or centimeter. Let's do some exercise about this idea. Here I have these equations comparing two units, two different units. When I want to compare two different units, I need to convert one of them to the other. For example, if I have centimeter and millimeter, I need to make them both the same. Even you make them centimeters or 2 millimeters. So in my question here, number 11, for me, I have to choose centimeter to millimeter. We can use also from milli to centi. Let's try now with centimeter to millimeter. When I want to change it from centimeter to millimeter, I used to multiply by 10. So here I'm going to multiply by 10 from centi to milli. Now 30 centimeter, when you multiply it by 10, the answer will be 300 millimeter. Now I can compare between these. Here I have 300 milli. Here I have 300 milli. Both of them are equals. Now let's move to the next question. I need to compare between kilometer and meter. Also, we can do the same, but in this equation, I'm going to use the inverse, which is to convert from smaller to the greater. So here, I'm going to divide it by 1,000. Why it's 1,000? Because I'm converting it from meter to kilometer. So I'm going to divide it by 1,000. Here is my decimal point. I'm going to the left, 3 decimal places. So let's do it. 1, 2, and 3. The answer here will be 4.800 kilometer. Now here I have 4.800. Here I have 4.8. Are they the same? Yes, they are the same. Some of you will ask, but here I have a 4.8. Here I have 4.800. Yes, I told you before, when I add more zeros, whatever zeros you can add at the right side has no value. So here's the 800, it's equals to 8 here. Now, let's go to question number 13. 25 millimeter and 3 centimeters. Here I'm going to change using the multiply. So I'm going to convert centimeter to millimeter. Multiplied by 10. So the answer will be 30 millimeter. Now I can compare 30 millimeter or 25 millimeter. Of course, 30 millimeter. That means 3 centi is greater. Now let's go to question number 14. In question number 13, we have kilometer and we have meter. I'm going to convert meter to kilometer. So I'm going to use the divide. Divided by 1,000. Now when I want to divide it by a power of 10, I'm going to move my decimal point to the left. Here is my decimal point. I'm going to move it to the left 3 decimal places. So here is 1, 2, and 3. So the answer will be 8.500. Also, you can write it 8.5. They are the same. Now, which one is greater? 8.5 kilometer or 9 kilometer? Of course, the 9 kilometers are greater than. Now let's go to question number 15. Question number 15, I'm going to multiply. That means I'm going to convert it from meter to centimeter. So here I'm going to multiply it by 100. Move my decimal point when I multiply to the right side 2 decimal places. That means you are going to do it 1 and 2. Here's my new decimal place or my decimal point. Now here I have an empty place. I can fill it with 0. So the answer should be 150 centimeter. And here I have 145 centimeters. That means 1.5 meter is greater. Okay, let's solve the last question. 17 meter and 116 centimeter. Here I'm going to use the divide. So I'm going to divide it by 100. From centi to meter, I'm going to divide it by 100. That means you are going to move your decimal point to the left. Here is my decimal point. Move it 2 decimal places to the left. So it will be 1 and 2. That means the answer is 1.16 meter. And here I have 17 meter. That means this one is greater. Now we are finished from our lesson. I hope all of you understood it. See you next time, inshallah, with a new lesson. Thank you.